Okay guys, I am back again to do another video. If you're seeing me in the same getup, it's because I'm working on multiple videos today, and it is very possible that you will see me in several videos wearing the same thing, even though they don't appear on the same day. I'm going to do my regular update. I've been needing to do a regular update for quite a while. I've done some steelbooks, and I haven't bought a whole lot of things that were non-steelbook recently. These go back all the way to last year, which is very sad. But I'll go through the Blu-rays really quick and show you what I got. I have, of course, got the South Park. This is the complete 16th season. If you guys are still following this show, as you know, it's still pretty funny. I'm finally getting to the point where I'm just not enjoying every episode, but it's still good, and I still want to continue to follow it. So if you are watching these, let me know what you think. Let me know if you guys are still enjoying South Park, because I really do think there are some great, funny episodes, and it's very smart the way they put it together. But still, there's some of them that just don't quite hit home for me, particularly. But yeah, I still continue to pick them up. The Simpsons, of course, I'm still waiting to pick up all these. This is the 16th season of The Simpsons as well, and I'm kind of surprised that they're not releasing these every 6 months. I think that'd be the smart thing to do. I really don't understand why they wouldn't release these every 6 months to catch up. I think they should be releasing a release of the previous season, probably about the next fall, and sometime, in the spring, they should be releasing the older episodes to catch up. As we can already tell, these are never going to catch up on DVD, because DVD will probably be discontinued before they actually get there. Otherwise, this season isn't quite as great as some of the earlier seasons, but people always say that anyway. I still enjoy it. I love The Simpsons. Night of the Comet, this is one of them that, I don't know. This is probably one of them that if you watched it during the 80s, you probably really enjoy it. Otherwise, it probably doesn't seem that great. I love it. It's very quirky. It's one of those movies that stuck with me as a child in the 80s, and it always reminded me of other movies around that time. And it was just kind of a good time to go rent movies at places, be introduced to all kinds of weird horror sci-fi things. And Night of the Comet just kind of fits right in that. It's almost a zombie movie. It's almost a space apocalyptic end of the world movie, and it's also kind of Last Man on Earth kind of movie too, and it's sort of all those things mixed together with a little bit of weirdness. It's very fun. I've always enjoyed it. So Night of the Comet. The next one to talk about is Day of the Dead. Not much I can say that you guys haven't already heard. I'm not picking up every one of the Scream Factory movies, but these two in particular I wanted to pick up just because I like the original Romero Dead movies, whatever you want to call the trilogy, The Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, all that stuff, which Dawn of the Dead before Day of the Dead. That's probably the best. After that, it kind of loses me, but always enjoys the first three, the original. And this one's really good as far as, it's the one I watched the least when I was a kid, so I'm kind of more fond of it now because I kind of forget about it from time to time. Big Bang Theory, I'm still really enjoying this television series. I know some people are not big fans of it or whatever, but I know a lot of people are. I just kind of enjoy the oddball nerdy humor. I like the references to nerdy things that I enjoy, and I kind of like the weird characters that they have on it. But it's probably not as exciting as it used to be to me, but I still enjoy it a lot. So yeah, I went ahead and picked up Big Bang Theory 6th season. This is a movie I picked up when it came out, and I was kind of not really impressed. I'd say I was entertained. I actually had low expectations on this, and it was okay for the low expectations. I kind of felt like this is one of those movies that towards the end, what I expected kind of happened. When stuff like that is, kind of the predominant thing you remember. I don't know how much lasting value it has. If you've never seen After Earth, it's definitely worth a rental just to check it out if you're into like sci-fi action movies, but that's probably the extent of it. I can't really say that I enjoyed it a whole lot. Now, on the other hand, this is a movie I really enjoyed. This movie caught me way off guard. Prisoners is awesome. It's amazing. This is one of those movies that I knew was a big movie, and I'd heard good things about it, but I just didn't really know exactly what to expect. And Robbie Webster was the one that told me. He said, "You definitely need to check this out." And I'm glad I did. I really loved it. I watched it, was so blown away by it. that I actually watched it the next day. I told my girlfriend, I was like, you have to watch this. It's so good. And this is one of those movies that it really kind of keeps you guessing. It has lots of different elements to it that make things change as the movie goes on, and it makes you want to watch it again so you can try to pick up on those things. And it's a great movie. I don't know how to describe it other than that. It's sort of a serial killer psychological movie, but not necessarily like what you think of like Seven or something like that. It's more of the perspective of a cop and the parents of the child that go missing, and how they kind of are working together at times, and they're working opposed to each other because of the frustration. But yeah, it's really good. Another one, World War Z. I kind of knew what to expect from this, but at the same time I didn't, and it's not bad. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. The CGI effects of the giant waves of zombies and things like that were very frustrating for me to see in the trailer, and I kind of got thrown off by it because I didn't really like that effect. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, I don't know, it seemed unnecessary to do all that CGI. It looked a little hokey, but you know, as a whole, it actually worked itself into the story well enough that I could watch it and overlook it, because it's not a bad movie. World War Z, if you're familiar with it, if you've read the book or the Zombie Survival Guide, it's pretty interesting. It's neat to see that worked into an actual story. The next one to show here is Carrie, the Carrie remake. At first, and it needs some Gooby Gone, it's got a big sticker there. At first, I wasn't going to get this movie, and then I heard a lot of people say it's really good. I don't know, it's just one of those movies that I kind of felt like I would have wanted to watch it even if I didn't really like it. So I went ahead and gave it a chance. I thought it was pretty good. It's exactly what you would think. There's two different endings, so definitely check out both those endings and let me know what you think of those. I actually prefer the alternate ending to the ending that they left. I think both of them are pretty decent. They're both about the same. It's just trying to give it some kind of new twist that somebody wasn't expecting. But as a whole, the movie is a pretty direct remake, as far as there's not a lot of surprises. The story's not that shaken up, other than it's kind of just modernized. One I like that I hear not really very many good things about is The Purge. I really enjoyed The Purge. I think the actual action and the things that happened the night of the Purge are kind of just okay. It didn't really catch me off guard as amazing, but what I did like is the story surrounding why in the future we would have the Purge. The idea that people, you know, go from being a normal person one day to the next day being something completely different, everybody getting it out of their system. And it's very strange. It's hard to kind of wrap your head around, you know, a world that's like that. That part of it I really enjoy. If you get a chance, check out The Purge. It might be a rental for some people, because I know that a lot of people don't like that. The Conjuring is one that I really enjoyed. I saw this at the theater. It says it's from the director of Saw and Insidious, and that was kind of one of the drawing features for me, because I do like James Wan, and James Wan is, he's a good director, and I think he's underrated. In fact, I think probably now he's finally getting the attention he deserves, and I hope it doesn't make, you know, people just kind of, you know, take him for granted. But I really enjoyed this. I thought it was pretty scary, but the part that kind of made it more interesting is it's actually based on a true case, an actual case that, you know, the people that were in it are sort of fictionalized. I mean, not everything's exact, but the actual family that's based on, there's some pictures. There's a few elements of the story that are changed to make it a little scarier, but otherwise it's mostly based on the accounts the family gave, which I thought was great. And I hope that they do some more stories, you know, based on the investigators, not necessarily that same family, but just give us some more stories. This one here, this is Insidious 2. I probably talked about this. I think this was in some other stuff, but I just wanted to say that I really enjoy Insidious 2. It changed the story quite a bit from what you would expect looking at Insidious 1. Insidious 2 kind of really changes it up, and I can't imagine where they're going next without really turning everything upside down a lot. But either way, Insidious 2 is really good. I enjoyed it. I'm a big fan of the first one, and I had to see it, so I went and saw it at the theater, and of course I got it the day it came out. Next movies I've got here are ones that I would say are kind of so-so. I heard a lot of good things about You're Next, and I thought it was all right. I just think it's probably not the movie for me. There's certain elements of this that I thought were a little predictable, but yet I didn't really see any big twists that kind of made me think. So it's okay. I would say probably a lot of people really enjoy it because I've heard really good reviews about it. But at the same time, it really just wasn't for me. If you guys get a chance to check this out, you keep that in mind. This is something that might be really good. It's just not my cup of tea. This is kind of the same way with The Lone Ranger. I liked it okay. I think it's a good story as far as it was interesting enough. I just don't really think it's something for me. And that is saying a lot because I really kind of hoped I would like this. And it's not horrible. I think it's actually really well done. It kind of feels like it was trying to be the beginning of a new franchise like Pirates of the Caribbean, and I think that they had the opportunity to do something like that, and it may not pan out. But who knows? I mean, this might be the movie that seems better after they make a sequel or something like that. I don't know. It was just kind of so-so for me, so definitely probably a rental if you're not for sure. Another movie that kind of was so-so for me is Riddick. And that's probably not because I thought it was really bad. It's just because all these movies are kind of the same for me. They're enjoyable, yet at the same time, I don't necessarily think I get really excited about them, but they're not bad. I like them okay. I went ahead and picked it up. I have the other two movies. Pitch Black is probably still my favorite just because I like the creepy element of being trapped and being more of like a monster movie and not just an adventure movie for this guy, Riddick. I thought it was okay. I enjoyed it enough that I'll go ahead and hold on to it. This is one I picked up recently. Finally picked it up. I've been wanting to pick up this one for a while. Weird Science is one of those movies that kind of like all the John Hughes movies, but this is the one that seems like it was really big when it came out in the 80s and isn't really talked about that much anymore. I think most people have seen Weird Science, but things like Breakfast Club and then 16 Candles, even Ferris Bueller's Day Off, definitely dwarf Weird Science. And it's got a great cast. I like even some of the supporting characters, like Robert Downey Jr. is really funny in this as one of the bad guys, one of the kind of the bully kids. Anthony Michael Hall is hilarious. I just really enjoy Weird Science. It's just a good, fun 80s movie. Wolverine, this is one that I went to go see at the theaters. I really enjoyed. If you guys were unaware, this actually comes in a black case. And it's probably just this version, and by that version I mean, I think it's the one that has the Blu-ray 3D, Blu-ray DVD, etc., etc., etc. But when you see them inside, yeah, it's all black. I thought that was a cool design element. I didn't really expect that when I got it. One of the reasons I got this is because it includes the unrated extended cut, and I wasn't for sure which Blu-rays was going to get that, because I know they're kind of weird sometimes about putting only special features on the 3D copy. I'm not for sure why. The next one is Iron Man 3, which I thought was really good. I saw this at the theater as well. And honestly, I think Iron Man movies, they could make these as long as they want, and as long as they keep making them the way they're making them now, I think they're going to do well. Robert Downey Jr. is the perfect Tony Stark. I think even movies that I don't expect to like, he somehow adds something to it. So Iron Man 3, you guys have probably seen that. That's no big surprise. I picked up the newest Community, the complete 4th season. They just barely started season 5. It got a weird mid-season kind of thing going because I think they've been really kind of threatening to cancel this for a while. This is probably my favorite show that's on television right now. I really love Community, and it's oddly kind of never promoted the way I would hope it would. And it just kind of seems like one of those television series that I'm surprised it's still in the air. As great as it is kind of narrowly focused towards a certain type of person that likes these. It's not very broad. It's not just a regular NBC broad comedy kind of thing. I'm glad it's getting the kind of attention it is to keep it going. It's the kind of thing that gets, lots of Twitter action and stuff like that. It's very non-traditional how it keeps the steam going. Yeah, I really like this show and always enjoy it. So yeah, Community. That's one that's never come out on Blu-ray. I'm not for sure why. It seems odd to me. And I will show a Laserdisc here. This is the special limited edition JFK, if I can get it back far enough, box set of JFK, the Oliver Stone movie from the 90s. This comes in pretty thick box here. And I'll open it up, and on the inside, this is kind of the information. It tells you a little bit about it. It has the chapter breakdown. This is a multi-disc. I don't necessarily have to go through all that, of course. This includes 5 discs, which most of those will be flip, side A, side B, so it's like 10 discs. Some of it will be special features as well. Here's the back of the box. This one didn't have an insert book, and I'm not really for sure if it was intended to. I bought it used, but considering how much is written on the inside of the box, I kind of assumed that maybe it didn't. But yeah, this includes JFK, the Director's Cut, and Beyond JFK, the Question of Conspiracy. Most of that stuff's available on the DVD. I just thought it was a really cool, thick box set. It was fairly cheap. I think it was like $7 or something like that, so I really enjoy that. I'm going to show you some great VHS. I've got some pretty cool VHS this time, and by this time I mean like the last 6 months again. I ended up picking up The Shining. My girlfriend's parents had this, and it's almost pristine. It looks exactly like the Shining copy I used to have when I was in high school. I bought this from Hastings around my senior year, and I always loved The Shining, and this is just the way I remember it sitting on my shelf. I wish I still had that. I don't. Now I have it back, so that's great, and the copy is really clean, probably cleaner than my original copy because I watched it enough and moved a few times, and by the time it had been on the shelf a couple years, it didn't look this nice, but yeah, it's still got a nice shiny gloss to it. But yes, The Shining. Then I got this right before Christmas, and pretty cheap. I thought it was really cool. This is a promotional Swamp Thing. The Unmen Unleashed New Animated Adventure 1. And I think this was intended to be several tapes that were available with toys. This is a Kenner promotional one. When the action figures were coming out, they were doing things to promote the television series and the action figures at the same time. Looks like so. Even comes with a little card here. But I thought it was really cool. The back looks like this. But yeah, it's I love that it's got the Kenner logo on there for you fans of old Kenner toys. Of course, Kenner did like, Star Wars and Superpowers, the Indiana Jones action figures, a lot of stuff from the 70s and 80s, and, existed up to the mid-90s. And I think around 97, something like that, 98, they folded up, and Hasbro bought them out right before episode 1 came out. Now let's go into some promotional tapes. Let me show you my X-Files tapes first. I got some promotional X-Files tapes. I'm, of course, a big fan of X-Files. This one here is a sealed copy, not for rental or sale. This is a promotional copy that would have been playing in like a Blockbuster or, possibly a Suncoast or somewhere like that that sold a lot of movies. And then it says, the X-Files created by Chris Carter, Pilot, Deep Throat, which are the 2 first episodes of that show. And it says, not for rental or sale. Dealer order date is March 1st, 1996. Street date is March 26, 1996. Then it has some really weird statistics on the back. I always love this because it always seems like something you wouldn't say to the public, but you would say to somebody that ran a store. It says, definite purchase intent of regular X-Files viewers, 33%, meaning 1 out of every 3 X-Files viewers would like to buy this. Which normally you would think, 1 out of 3 isn't that high, but considering how many people watched this, I'm sure 33% looked really good to, a manager or a regional manager or something like that that was actually going to order these. It contains 2 uncut episodes for $14.98, suggested retail price, exclusive collector's card in each cassette, 12, 24, 48, and 96 unit pre-packs available, which is hilarious, thinking somebody would buy 96. Like that's one big sealed case, 96 copies of this. But for those hardcore fans, a lot of people picked them up. I'm actually just excited about this. This kind of stuff like that usually has a little deal that runs along the bottom that warns you that this is not for sale, and it kind of reminds you over and over again they don't even want people to videotape that. This is a For Your Consideration tape, which is oddly very generic. This is X-Files, and it's For Your Consideration, outstanding guest actress in a drama series, outstanding directing a drama series, outstanding writing a drama series, episode The Field Where I Died. It has a very generic case. And it has like a sticker, the field where I died. That's not that great a condition, not that spectacular. Same way with this. This is a little generic as well. This one is X-Files for Your Consideration. Let's see what episode's on here. This Is Not Happening and Dead Alive. This Is Not Happening. It's pretty good. But this is another one of those for your consideration things from like one of the later seasons. I was thinking this is like, it says copyright 2001. So this is probably the second to last season, something like that, third to last season. This is way up there. Of course, it's got Robert Patrick in it, so that is towards the end. But yeah, another one of those. This one's really officially printed. It's actually just like a regular production. It says for your consideration in all categories. They're basically saying, please nominate, vote for us in everything. This is another one I really was kind of excited to get. It was kind of cool, and it's a little beat up, but otherwise I liked it. It's called FX Foxconn Cable, and if you remember during the early 2000s, FX was getting a lot of Fox shows, including shows that were originally on other networks like the WB, of course, like Buffy and stuff like that. But of course, X-Files was one of them, and they were getting their own little promotions. And this one actually says Tempest Fugit Part 1 and Part 2, and Max Part 2 of 2. So this was a two-part series, and I'm assuming with a promotional something also implied in there, but the little sticker thing is kind of worn and generic, but it's got that on there. And the inside of this is just a regular WB clamshell. In the back shows the episodes. It just says FX Foxconn Cable. Now I'm going to show you a promotional tape that I got. It was for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but this is one of those. This is actually one that would have been sent to a studio or something like that, but it's a series premiere on FX, and this is one that actually gives a promo. It's very similar to this, except for with different shows. It has the two-part Buffy pilot, and which it doesn't even give it a name, the Ally McBeal pilot, and the Practice pilot, which I was a big fan of the Practice, and that was a great show. But this one has it there, and you actually get the little promo at the beginning, and then it just goes straight into each episode after that, which is kind of odd, but that's the way a lot of these are. They're just very strange depending on who puts them together. This is a For Your Consideration tape of Angel. This one is For Your Consideration, Category 35, Outstanding Makeup for a Series, Double or Nothing, original air date 4/22/02. So I think that's from like the third season. Looks like so. It's got some makeup effects on front and back here. Try to tilt that away where I won't get super glares, but and then this one is a little chewed up. I'm hoping to get a replacement case for this one because it's broke, as you can see there, and a little chewed up here. This is for Spin the Bottle, which is a season 4 episode, and this is For Your Consideration. And it's just got a very generic label there. Yeah. And that about does it. I'm going to wrap this up. This is my catch up for all my regular things and my updates. I've still got steelbooks coming up. I will do that. That may or may not have 1 or 2 parts because I have quite a few of those for the last few months. But other than that, yes, I will see you guys again next time, where I might be wearing these same clothes depending on if I shoot that video again today. Okay, take care guys. Bye.